Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
Pretty good, Tony. How you doing?
I'm all right. How about you, Vinny? Can't complain. Anyone seen Frankie? How's he doing?
And welcome, everyone, to Behind the Content. Our guest tonight is Adam Fiegle of Recall Roster. Adam, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Oh, man, no problem at all. So, for those of you guys that tuned in last week, it was the first episode where I kind of gave you a rundown of who I am. And that's going to be the basis of this show. We see these creators, we follow these creators on whether it's TikTok or Instagram or whatever platform it's going to be, but we only know them for 15 to 60 seconds at a pop. This will give you the opportunity to really get to know the people that you follow or will be following soon.
Yeah.
Adam, and we definitely hope that that everyone goes and follows you. We'll throw up all your platforms as well.
Yeah.
So, Adam, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm Adam. I run quite a bit of social media besides TikTok, Facebook, starting with the Flatline, which is it's a military humor meme page. Jumped on TikTok. I've kind of blown up there, but joined the Air Force when I was 18. That's where all the humor comes from, everything that everybody sees. So.
And if anybody is wondering why Adam maybe hasn't posted in, 5 days now, he's in TikTok jail. He is banned from making any content for 1 week.
Yeah, 1 week. Not the first time.
Not the first time. This is how many times you've been in TikTok jail now?
This is the third time.
Third time. Is there a limit?
I don't know. The humor is dark. It's dark.
And that's what you were actually doing. I believe, and you tell the story.
Yeah.
You started it in OnlyFans, correct?
No. I did start an OnlyFans, and that's what just got me banned.
Now, before anybody gets too excited.
Yeah.
Adam is a happily married man. It is not that kind of OnlyFans. Believe it or not, I didn't know this. OnlyFans isn't just for scantily clad pictures.
Yeah,
there's content creators on there, and I think what was the idea that you were going to go on with your OnlyFans?
It was mainly because TikTok doesn't allow a lot of the dark humor that I do, so I was going to switch to OnlyFans so that I could do a lot of the really dark military humor that all the branches know and love on a platform that would support what I did. Literally it.
Now, the video that everyone just saw prior to the show starting, that is to me one of the absolute funniest things I've ever seen. Do you get hate from other branches for doing that, or do you get hate from people that never served and think you're being offensive?
Yeah, so a little bit of both. Not so much the military branches. I do get some hate comments from the younger troops that are just joining that don't really understand the humor yet. But then, yeah, I get a lot of it from civilians that think I'm being hateful, that don't understand I served 6 years, 2 years deployed, and this is just our camaraderie. It's what we do.
My brother is a vet, friends with a ton, and I know that the humor level on everyone, and there's other military creators on there, and that seems to be something that is like acceptable between you guys. I couldn't go make something like that. I'd get stomped out, rightfully so. But for you guys, it's fine. I think it's hilarious, but I do see your comments that people leave, and I'm like, oh my God.
I've dealt with them for a long time.
I'm sure you have, and I guess serving in the military, you probably have really thick skin.
Oh, yeah.
So getting right into it, Recall Roster. Tell us more about that. What is Recall Roster, and what is it all about?
Okay, so Recall Roster started out as just... So everybody in the military knows what a recall roster is. When I started on TikTok, the name was the Flatline, which only people that worked on the flight line around aircraft know what that is, which is a lot of military members. So I was thinking of something that everybody knew as far as 22 a day, and recall roster just hit. So for a recall roster, everybody in the military had a physical recall roster. Everybody in their unit, everybody in their squadron had their name, their phone number. So when shit went south, like in 9/11, when I was in, everybody got recalled. So I'm using the recall roster as when a vet is hurting, they're contemplating being one of the 22 a day. We're recalling all these people to show them love, to bring them support, let them know they're needed, and bring all their brothers and sisters in. But beyond that, the website, the recallroster.org, I've just switched, from the flatline to the recall roster. The live chat will be back up, and it's bringing. So if there's an Army vet that jumps on the live chat, an Army vet will be there to help that person. If it's an Air Force,
24/7?
It is 24/7, 365. And
Wow.
I've got a physical recall roster document of volunteers from all branches, and this is for firefighters, police, EMS as well, to jump on. And so if somebody's hurting and they're on the chat, it's basically an Amber Alert for all these people. And then the people that are agents that are going to volunteer and help, they will get that message and say, okay, this person is per Army, they're in 11B, I was in 11B, and they know how to talk to that person.
And for anybody who might not be aware, what the 22 a day is, I can only explain it so much, but I mean, I do come from a military family.
Yeah.
22 a day is 22 military members, active and retired, commit suicide per day.
Yes.
And that is a fact. It's documented fact. And I remember, I mean, rest in peace to him, but Charlie Daniels was a major advocate for 22 a day.
Yeah, he was.
Major. Are there soldiers that are either coming back from deployment or even just being stateside, but the stuff that they've been through, going through PTSD, is how you guys handle that situation? Is it you reach out to them? Do they reach out to you? Can you see the signs as somebody who suffers from PTSD?
Right.
Can you see those signs, or is it better for someone to come to you?
Yeah, I can see those signs. I've done a lot of psychological research over the years. Since TikTok, I've been doing this stuff before this with the flight line. So it's about 10 years worth of me helping veterans. And now I'm really trying to start to do something with it. I can see the signs, and the majority of veterans who have been deployed or who have PTSD, they can see the signs. A lot of people can't. It's something that's within somebody that civilians they can't see it. They see a normal person because, like, I've got it. You see me, I'm normal. But flip of a switch, I can be set off. So it's knowing who that veteran is, what their story is, and really it has a lot to do with their home life. If they're being a recluse, that's a straight up sign. If they're not wanting to be a part of large crowds, they're not bathing well. As weird as that sounds.
No, yeah.
Self-care is not something that PTSD is good for. Everything just kind of goes on the wayside when you really get into depression, the depression side of PTSD.
Now, what was the deciding factor in what? We'll get into your background of PTSD, but what was the driving factor in making you say, this is what I want to do? I want to help other veterans. And I know that there's a camaraderie and you guys all have each other's backs.
Yeah.
But what made you, this is what I want to do? I want to start something big and help a much broader a market of people than just the ones that I know personally.
So I've got my own personal recall roster of about 500 people. And I run a Facebook page for that. But what really started it is I was almost a 22 twice. And then during that time, I got involved with a group of veterans called the Reverend Warriors, or actually Drinking Bros Tennessee chapter first, then a Reverend Warriors, and the camaraderie of just us hanging out together. We have a place, we congregate. Literally, some of the guys, it's like every other day they're there. But just being around like-minded people, veterans, helped me so much. And that's what really spawned the recall roster, getting people that are hurting together, because I've seen it work. It helped me, and it's helped so many other people. So that's really what spawned it. But my attempts is, I'm here now.
Yep.
I'm here to help other people.
I think it's an amazing thing that you're doing. It's pretty cliche, I'm sure, and you get it all the time. But from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure everybody watching, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done for us. You guys like you, men and women like you, are the reason that I could do stupid stuff that I do on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I can't thank you enough. And I really think that this is an amazing thing. And we'll put up all the information, websites and where anybody could go. So, guys, if you know somebody that maybe you want to pass this along to, you could be saving a life and stopping one of the 22. You mentioned a few times the flight line. When I first met you on TikTok, you were the flight line. So what exactly is the flight line, and are you still affiliated with them?
Yeah, I own half of it. It started, I guess, 8 or 9 years ago now. Me and a group of friends that worked together at Pope Air Force Base in North Carolina. We all worked C-130s together. So the flight line is your tarmac where planes are positioned. So we named it the flight line because we're all aircraft maintainers. So 3 of us started it. It started out as something just silly. A group of friends, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and now it's at like 51,000 followers.
Wow.
But there's been turmoil over the years, directions that we wanted to go that didn't go where some of the other people wanted it to, and then I start the recall roster, and it's completely separate from your regular Facebook meme page.
Okay.
It's videos. It's me. I'm the face, and I'm the one that did it. I'm the one that brought the following. I'll still be always affiliated with the flight line, but this is a step beyond what we were doing as just a Facebook meme page.
So the flight line was basically created to bring in some type of humor,
yes,
to break up the day-to-day everything that you guys deal with, whether active, retired, or literally just sitting on the flight line. You guys, you can sit there and enjoy yourself. Where recall roster was something more serious, more in depth, more personal.
Yeah. I took what we did at the flight line, and I grew up wanting to do broadcasting and comedy and all that stuff. Anyway, started at as the flight line meme page, and then TikTok came along, and I had made videos for the Facebook page, but then TikTok came along, and it's like, oh God, I can do this. And then I got to use the humor from the Facebook page and bring it to the recall roster. So I'm making people laugh to break up, PTSD and people that are hurting, but then let them know also with a lot of the videos that I do, they're really sentimental. They really hit home with a lot of veterans. And it's like, oh shit, this guy really knows how we are, how we hurt. He's been there. And I get those messages all the time. So
I think that's one of the nice things about what you do on TikTok. And I feel like it kind of shows people like, hey, okay, 2 hours ago, I was making jokes and I made a comedy skit, or I was singing the Baloney Ponies, and but you know what, a couple hours have passed and now this is how I feel, and I've always enjoyed how you did that and transitioned that and really let people like me, who I can understand what you're going through, or deal with into your head almost, you know?
And that's literally it. It can go from 1 hour to the next to 4 hours of being good, and then split second something's bad. And I think I do show a lot of that because it will be like a lot of the times I do my sentimental stuff at night, but that way it's easier for me. Everybody in the house is asleep, so I can really think about the video that I'm doing and think about where I've been, to really resonate with other vets. Hey, it's okay. I'm feeling this way. You can feel this way. You can reach out.
Absolutely. Do these videos ever, the more serious ones, do they ever bring on a wave of emotions, or do they trigger a PTSD? Could they trigger those kind of moments? So is it tougher to do them than people might realize?
Yeah. There was one specifically that literally I took off work for 2 days after.
Wow.
Like it was the one of kind of recreating one of my suicide attempts.
Okay.
It took me all day to do it. And then took the next 2 days off of work. I was just sick. I was not like throwing up sick. I was mentally exhausted because I couldn't, I basically relived the fucking moment. Sure. And I knew I could get it out of my head, but it took me a few days to get it back out of my head because I didn't want to relive that experience, but I did because I knew it would help somebody else be like, oh shit, this guy's been there. I've been there too. And he's still okay. And there was another one, like it didn't put me into that bad a submission, but yeah, for 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, it was pretty rough.
And not to compare it at all, the episode that I did to open this show up last week, I did get nothing but positive feedback -1 because there's always one.
There's always one.
And of course, the comment is, do you realize that you just put that out for the whole world to see? It's like, listen, the whole world has not seen it. I would love for the whole world to see it. Yeah. But I don't care. And if they do, that's great. I'm putting it out there because if one person can watch that and go, wow, I got a problem, or my husband or my significant other has a problem, then that makes I'm not very good at helping myself, but I feel like I could help other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's for you to know or have an idea at least that, hey, I'm going to recreate this. Yeah. And there's a good chance that this is going to mess me up. But people need to see this, and people need to understand that this is real. Yeah. That nothing but credit to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You had mentioned you had 2 times that you were almost 22. Yeah. If you're okay with talking about it, hopefully, there's somebody here that maybe is on the fence contemplating, and what was the situation? What was going on?
Yeah, it's not hard for me to talk about, like recreating it. That was hard, but the situations around it, had a good job, and then it went downhill. Civilian job, 1 veteran and a civilian job. To make it long story short, I had the worst boss in the world. Had no idea what he was doing. I was literally the technical guy for the company, getting used and abused. I mouthed off, as the veteran that I am, about how he was running his company, and ended up getting blackballed from there. I was at the second position in this company, a $10 million sales company.
Wow.
And got demoted. But the whole reason I got the job was because my uncle had worked there for 30 years. Okay. So they didn't want to fire me. They wanted me to quit.
Trying to force you out.
Yeah, they were trying to force me out. They made life a living hell for me. And at the same time, I was building a new construction because my background is construction. I have a degree in construction management. So on the side, me and Lacey, we've always flipped houses, and this was the second new construction that we've built.
Oh, wow.
So literally right in the middle of this new construction, hectic as all hell. work is shit, building this house, and and then the major thing is I messed my back up, which I already had a bad back to begin with. Literally broke my back in a car accident.
Wow.
Construction had to stop. Bank was on me. Our construction loan was good, but work stopped.
Okay.
And they didn't like that. So all this stress, you know, I felt worthless. I felt like a shitty husband. I wasn't able to accomplish these things. I was getting demoted in this company because I opened my mouth over what was right.
Sure.
When my boss, and real quick, the boss got fired from the company for embezzlement. Just to put that out there. Yeah.
One for the good guys.
Yeah. I had to quit, but 9 months after, the owner of the company called me. He's like, "You were right. Do you want to come back?" I was like, "Fuck no, I don't want to come back to this place." So yeah, punch to that dude. But yeah, so all those things, I felt like ass, and was drinking heavily. We can get into the alcoholism here in a minute. But was drinking heavily, and I just wanted all the hurt to go away. So because of my back, I had a shit ton of hydrocodones.
Yep.
Took the whole fucking bottle.
Wow.
And wanted it to be done. Lace didn't even fucking realize I'd done it. I woke up the next morning basically fine.
Wow. That's got to mess with your psyche more. I know I have no attempts, but in my discussion, I explained that I was ready to. But I know someone personally that said the next day they woke up and felt like more of a failure because they woke up.
Yeah. And that's what spawned the second attempt.
Were they consecutive? Like, within time?
Within 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very close.
And the first one was literally like, it was spontaneous. I'm done. I don't want to be here. I'm better off not here. Lace will find another man. Kids will be fine. Like, that was the rationale in my head.
Yep.
They will be fine if I take myself out of it, because I'm causing them so much hurt because of all this stuff that's going on. So the first one was spontaneous. Like, I'm better off. I'm better off getting out of the situation. Let them be who they are. So then this was all still during my back being messed up, the work thing, all that shit. So yeah, 2 months later, then it was planned. Like, and a lot of vets do this. They'll plan shit. Mm-hmm. And they will be, because like I was, and like I said, I talk to these people all the time. They will be on an extreme high if they plan their suicide. And
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Everything is fine. Everything is great. The world is fucking rocking on because they know the end is near. They know their pain's going to stop. And that's what I did. I'd planned it and had the fucking Glock loaded, was ready to do it. I set a fucking date and I was like, yeah, I'm happy as hell. The house at this point was almost done. I'm leaving Lace with this $500,000 house and everything's going to be good. And I didn't do it. So
we're all glad you didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that your family and Laces and all the people that you have helped and will help. I'm not an overly religious person. I'm not at all.
I'm not at all.
But I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. I believe in energy.
Sure.
People can pass energy. Like my boss gave me a ton of negative energy when I'm an extremely positive person, always have been. That's where I stand on that.
My wife's like that a lot, where I'll be in like one of my moods, which is often, and I think that stems a lot from the drug and alcohol abuse. And she will literally just throw like positive energy, positive thoughts. And when you're going through it, I want to be like, shut up.
Yeah.
But when you sit back and you think about it, you're like, wow, if you surround yourself with positive people, you're a positive person. If you surround yourself with negative people, you become a negative person.
Yep.
So I think I actually I do recall seeing that TikTok. I remember, and that was powerful.
Yeah, I got a lot of
extremely
lot of comments on that one. A lot of messages about it. A lot of thank yous, which I'm just putting it out there for people to know that it's okay to feel like shit. It's okay to put your story out there and let people know that you're hurting. Like, I got a lot of comments like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like, that was me reflecting, and it was hard, but I'm at a point now, because all that stuff was 4 years ago.
okay.
I'm at a point now where I redirect my mind always, and that's something that I'm advocating and teaching some other veterans that are going to help with the recall roster on how to redirect somebody's mind when those demons come in, because I've trained myself to do that, and I've helped other people and watch it work, so that you don't think suicide, you don't think I'm a piece of shit, you think, oh, let me call my veteran buddy and just talk to them, because half the time over the past 10 years, I'll say 80% of the time, I only have to talk to somebody for 10 or 15 minutes. Granted, I've been doing this for a long time, but to bring them out of their funk. And
Wow.
it's literally, they just need somebody to talk to. That's a perfect stranger.
Yeah.
That's been in the military. The best way I can put it is like, with all the people that I worked with, I have them to rely on. That I worked with at Pope Air Force Base, and recalling, basically kind of like high school memories. You remember that time we were in a field party drunk? Yeah. And on the flight line, hey, you remember that time we were in Mosul, Iraq, and we fixed that fucking aircraft and got the hell out of there? Yeah, that's reminiscing of a time that we both shared. But with a perfect stranger that's a veteran, you're learning that person. You're making a friend. So I'm just as engaged with them as they are with me. And then everything that was in their head, gone. We're talking about military stories that I don't know about, and I'm telling them stories that they've never heard before. And that's been the key thing that I've learned over the years. Is like, people want to hear something that, like what we're doing now. People want to hear something they don't know about.
Now, let me ask you a question. If when somebody reaches out, okay, and you have a group of people that are helping, do you pair a Marine with a Marine? Do you pair Army with Army, Air Force with Air Force? Or is it like, can somebody from the Marine Corps talk to somebody from let's say the Army about the issues? Or they can? Yeah.
There's a lot of jobs in the military that cross over. So like a Navy corpsman can talk to a Marine, no problem, because half the time they go through some of the same trainings when they're coming up in the military. So they have some of those same experiences, but they may not have been through it at the same time, different instructors, all that. But being an aircraft mechanic that I was, I can talk to pretty much anybody, but I'd rather a Marine talk to a Marine.
Okay.
Or a Marine talk to somebody that was Army that was basically within the same career field.
I got you. It makes sense. I mean, they could obviously relate a lot more. Do you see these issues with all branches? I mean, is it, and not that you're singling out one over,
right?
But right. I mean, does this happen more with the Marine Corps than the Coast Guard? Does this happen more with the Air Force than the Army? Is it?
Yeah.
Does it seem to have a area?
It's job field created.
Okay.
So there are places in the Air Force. TACP is basically like a medic that is a Marine in the Air Force. Now, there's not a whole lot of that in the Air Force, but the combat related career fields in the Army, in the Marines, in the Navy, Coast Guard even has those as well. So it spans all branches. It really does. So, but yeah, probably obviously the Marines and the Army, because those career fields are larger in those branches. Yeah, that's more of where the problems lie.
But I and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of times some of the issues don't lie from when they were in the military. It lies from trying to live civilian life.
Yeah, the PTSD doesn't come from that. That's called just transition.
Mm-hmm.
The transition from military life to civilian life is difficult. It was extremely difficult for me to go from something so structured to go to a civilian job where in a civilian job, everybody doesn't know where they stand all the time. Whereas in the military, you've got a rank. You know exactly where you stand. If I'm an E5 staff sergeant and you're an E4 senior airman, I outrank you. Shut the fuck up. In the civilian world, and I could literally say that. In the civilian world, you can't do that. I can't just be like, shut the fuck up. I'm going to get written up by my boss.
As you saw with this embezzling asshole.
Yeah. I couldn't say that. And the owner knew about it. But they had to get rid of me to see the light, I guess. I don't know.
Sure, yeah. No,
that ship has sailed.
I know just from the few the friends that I have and even my brother, that was one of their biggest things was like, I can't do civilian life. Like that's just not for me. And then one of them actually became a corrections officer, and it really helped because it wasn't exactly the same, but it was similar.
That camaraderie is there.
Is that why you think a lot of military become law enforcement?
Yeah, they go firefighter, they go EMT, they go police officers because that camaraderie is there. And you join one of those career fields in the civilian world, and you're already jumping into somebody that some of them, they're prior Army, Marines, Air Force, all that.
So moving into the social media aspect of how this all became, you said you had the flight line was on Facebook, correct?
Yes.
And then did that transition into like Instagram with the flight line, or did it pretty much stay?
No, we're on Instagram as well. I think it's got like 35 or 3,600 followers.
Okay.
But it's literally just the stuff that we post from Facebook goes to the Instagram.
Like,
and that's
like my Instagram.
yeah. But it's
just
literally
TikTok too. That's all it is.
It's literally just memes though. That's all that's on the Instagram. And we have a Reddit. I don't deal with that side of it. And then the TikTok, we named the flight line. And at the time we've had plenty of admins. I brought my cousin onto the Flightline Facebook page. And in the first week, he was like, "Hey, do we have a TikTok?" He's like 24.
Uh-huh.
And everybody's like, "No." He's like, "We probably should get a TikTok." And everybody's like, "Well, who wants to do it?" And everybody's like, not it. And I was like, fuck it. I guess it's me. I'm the one that's been making videos before this anyway. So
were you on Vine or did you not take part in Vine?
No, I never did any of the Vine stuff. That kind of came and went real quick. I think that was actually during the time when I was going through my depression and stuff.
Okay.
So I didn't want to do anything social media. And I actually stepped away from the Flightline Facebook page for about a year and a half, 2 years during that time as well.
So they all collectively say, nope, we don't want any part of this. But you see that there's light in TikTok, and it could really help to grow what you guys are trying to do. So you jump into it. How long have you been on TikTok now?
I went onto TikTok March 2nd of this year.
Oh, okay. So, right around the
COVID.
Right
around COVID.
COVID, absolutely. I think I'm March 5th, actually.
Really?
No, I'm sorry, May 5th. May 5th.
Yeah.
May 5th was when I started. So you've done very, very well with it. What helped you succeed and to grow that account in such a short period of time? Because where are you now? You're at how many?
73,500.
And that's with 3 week-long bans. And a long shadow ban.
and a couple long shadow bans, yeah.
So what was it that got you noticed there? Because, again, you're not trying to get noticed for, as the cool kids say, clout. Or you're not trying to get TikTok famous or famous. You're trying to, at that time, it was just the flight line.
Yeah.
Trying to grow this thing that you guys built?
When I started it, my daughter has a large following on TikTok for cosplay. She's 17. I can't give out her information. Nope. She will not let me as a dad. But she had done really well. And so I got nominated to do the TikTok. And I was like, Hannah, how the fuck do I do this? And so I literally had she was 16 then, 16-year-old in my corner showing me everything how to do. I'd come into her room at 10 o'clock. Hannah, what button do I push to make this work? And then after a month, I got it figured out and I didn't have to bother her anymore. But, I started doing just the trends, and then, I wanted to use it military wise, like making the funny stuff that we did on the Facebook page. So then I started looking at some of the sounds and stuff. I was like, oh, I can relate that to the military. And bam, I did one, tens and thousands of views. Okay, I'm going to do this again. I find another one. And then I did that for a little bit. And then I started making, my own original content, which one of those hit 2.4 million.
Oh, wow.
Views. And it was literally, I thought it was actually pretty stupid.
That's the way it always works. That's the way.
I know.
You could sit here. I did one a long time ago with me and my son cutting the grass, and it's the I can do it sign. I can do it. And it's like, telling him like the whole thing, like, I will not have, all dads have always been known to watch the grass or look at the grass after they cut
right.
it. That whole thing. And then at the end, it's just me and him just doing it. And it's like, stare away, son, stare away. Yeah. I spent 4.5 hours cutting scenes, doing this, doing that. Flopola.
Yeah. Yeah.
Flop Central. I literally one time duetted somebody, like making fun of them, where I said one word the entire time. And this was the word. Oh, this is taken down. This was taken down by now.
Oh.
Asshole. 1.5 million views. And then it got removed.
And that's the thing. Like, I know you have stuff just like I do. I did this shit. It was funny. This one gets 2.4 million, and this one I know is hilarious. Got nothing. Got nothing. I repost those.
With the stuff that you've posted, and I would say probably more along the line of your serious messages.
Yeah.
How has that helped you as an individual? And how has it hurt you as an individual, if it has?
Some of the harder ones, it has definitely helped me reflect on the time that I was really in a bad place to tell myself, I'm never fucking going back there again. That place was so bad. And because I'm in such a good place now, and I'm still getting to a better place, but to reflect on those videos, when I do them and really know how bad that place was, to know that I'm never, ever going to get anywhere near there again. And that's where I've trained my mind. Even with the one video that put me out of work for 2 days. So like still in my head, I was like, yeah, Adam, that fucking sucked. But you did that for a reason. You reflected on it. You don't have to go back there for a while. Let's stay away from that one for a little bit. But it's definitely helped reflect on where I was. Same question.
How has it helped you and how has it hurt you? And I think you kind of answered both there.
Yeah, kind of hit the hurt part.
Yeah. When you make something like that, and obviously you're now feeling it, like you said, for 2 days you were feeling it.
Yeah.
The messages of positivity that you get, does that help build you back up, or do you have to just shut it down and you're done for a little while?
Yeah. After that video, like literally I cried for the next 2 days. And then all the support that I got after that, I don't know how many comments I got on that. It's like every time somebody would say something nice, I'd start fucking tearing up again. It's
emotional.
It was an emotional roller coaster for sure.
Absolutely. I can't even imagine. We know what made you want to get on TikTok or I think you were kind of just thrown into TikTok.
I was. It would have happened anyway because I was really curious because my daughter at the time, I don't know how many she's got now. She didn't let me see the shit. She had like 10,000 followers. Then I was like, you got a 10,000 follower fan base on TikTok? What is this thing? She's like, oh, it's nothing, Dad. Don't worry about it. And I was like really interested. So I would have ended up on TikTok anyway.
How does she feel about you being on it? And have
Hates
you surpassed her follower count?
Oh yeah. And for a while she hated it, like because I would give her shit because that's our relationship. But then it's kind of started really getting to her, and I was like, oh shit, I can't do this anymore. Because we'd be like, Hannah, I'm at 6,000. Hannah, I'm at 8,000. Hannah, I'm at 20,000. And then it was like, okay, Dad, you gotta stop. Like that's not it's not funny anymore.
Does she hate it because her dad's on TikTok, or does she hate it because you surpassed her?
A little bit of both, but more that I surpassed her. Mainly because I was like, yeah, Hannah, I'm gonna get on TikTok. And I have all these other Facebook pages that have done really well. And she was like, she told me this. She was like, as soon as I knew you were getting on TikTok, it was going to be really good.
That's cool.
And then when it happened, she was jealous for like half a second. Then we had a conversation, and then she's extremely happy for me. I show her all my fucking videos. Like, hey, Hannah, look at this one.
Do you feed off of her? Like, does she give you advice at all? Like, still, I know in the beginning you said she did, but
oh yeah.
You know,
We have our social media meetings between me and Hannah of what's trending, what's not, silly videos that we've seen, and so yeah, we talk back and forth.
Your wife is on it too, as well.
Yeah,
she's part of TikTok.
She hates that I do better than she does as well. Lace hates it.
I have seen some of. I follow Lace obviously and interact with her as well.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some of her videos. I think for people that follow you, their family members should follow Lace, because I think a lot of what she posts reflects on what it's like, because she didn't serve, correct?
No, yeah, she didn't serve.
So she's the
military
spouse,
wife.
A military wife, and some of her videos touch deep emotional things on her end, and I'm sure there's a lot of spouses that are going there, husbands and wives.
Yeah.
So we're gonna throw her TikTok handle up here as well, and you guys should definitely be checking her out as well. We got into your TikTok, your Instagram. You're starting to grow now. You said.
Yeah, I neglected it for years because when I got it was more like just the family thing, pictures of the kids. I'd post some funny stuff on there, but it was literally stuff I'd pick up from Facebook or other Instagram pages. So now I'm back to like, okay, I'm going to put my content on here just as Adam instead of just the recall roster, but a lot of the stuff is going to correlate. But I'm probably only going to put the funny stuff on Instagram, some more original content. Try to keep those two separate. Just be like, here's me, here's the recall roster.
Now, with recall roster, you do have merch as well.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. What how they got started, what you're doing with it, the whole background of that of your merchandise.
Yeah. So started with Teespring, which Teespring is a great way to get started. All your own designs, but you're limited when you start out to what you can put out there. Like I can't do hats. I can't print a flag on the sleeve, which they market that you can do. But once you're on there, you can't until you've sold so many things, and they don't tell you what that number is. So I did recall roster shirts. Was not happy about not having the flag on the sleeve.
Sure,
but
makes sense. It's a military base.
And I even emailed them about that, and I was like, "Hey, I would sell more if I could have the sleeve on there." Like, we can't do that, mainly because their manufacturing process.
Okay,
so I'm getting away from Teespring very, very soon. Hopefully next week. I have an account with Sophie, which every military member that has joined the military gets issued this is not a Sophie shirt, but they get issued Sophie shirts in basic training.
Okay.
Because Sophie has a contract with the military. So now I have a contract with Sophie so I can get their shirts, and we are going to have them screen printed. So we're going to have inventory in my garage.
Nice.
To ship out shirts. And then with that, Sophie is a part of Delta Apparel, which owns, I think they own Realtree, Mossy Oak, Callaway shirts.
Okay.
And I have access to them as well. And they sell all kinds of hats. So going through them for hats, and then I'm looking at challenge coins. Everybody that's military knows what a challenge coin is. You go to the bar, you pull out your wallet, throw out your challenge coin. If somebody else doesn't have it, they buy your beer.
The shirts and stuff like that. Is this something that you're doing, or the merchandise? Because this can be more than shirts. Yeah. Is this something you're doing that's going to help keep funding Recall roster and to keep that growing?
Yeah, the long term of it, right now it's going to fuel the website. I have to, because I'm splitting from the Flatline, I have to do a new LLC. I'm going to do a nonprofit. I have to pay for that. The live chat costs. So all that is fueling that. But then the other part of it is just getting put away so that long term, I can put chapters of the Recall roster in other major cities. That's amazing. So that I'm not the only one doing it. I mean, that, you see the hashtag I got your six.
Yeah.
There's other people that are already using the we got your six. And I am very adamant about using that because I can't do it all.
Yeah. It takes an army, no pun intended, but
it's a collective thing. Us helping each other. It's we got your six. We are the first line of defense. It's not the VA. It's not a therapist. I've been to therapy and I have to explain myself and everything I've been through. Whereas when I talk to another vet, they already know. They already know what I've been through.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're going to therapy, it's not a guarantee that your therapist is military.
Yeah.
Or has any, military background. So they don't know. I understand that they're trained and therapists do amazing things. Yeah. But I feel like when it comes to veterans, it's different.
The problem is veterans have a problem opening up to somebody that doesn't know what the fuck they've been through. They will not talk about those hard times on the front lines or the shit that I dealt with. That I don't even want to talk to you. Like going into a therapist or a psychiatrist, I don't even want to talk to that person because as a veteran, I already don't believe that they're going to understand me.
It makes a ton of sense. I couldn't imagine, again, can't understand where you're coming from, but I could understand that if I had gone through what you've seen and been through, I don't want to talk to somebody that doesn't know that.
Yeah. Put it this way. It's like going to talk to a therapist over family counseling. You've got a problem with your children. That therapist doesn't have kids. You can read everything you want to in a textbook.
Yep.
Unless you know the dynamics day in, day out of military or kids. It's very, very hard to relate and take that person's word and really believe what they're saying is going to help you.
Absolutely. And again, I am not knocking therapists. I'm not saying that you shouldn't see them. I'm just saying there needs to be a different option for veterans. And I think what you're doing is amazing. The website, let's see if we could get this correct. It's going to be right. It's going to be right underneath where Adam is sitting right now. So you guys can check out the website. It's up, it's running, it's live. Everything's going on it.
Because I've switched, the live chat will be up next week, but within that time frame, I've got my hard document of the Recall roster, and everybody's just tagging me and sending me message, and I'm going to that hard document and saying, okay, Joe got somebody, you can relate to them. If somebody Air Force, or if I don't have somebody available, I'm up till 3 or 4 in the morning talking to people.
with what you're doing, when the website now has the merchandise, and again the live chat will be there.
Yeah.
Again, it is over by him, right over underneath the stomach there. So guys, go visit that. Is there a way on their website, or a way somebody could reach out to you that's a veteran that says, "Hey, listen, I love what you're doing. I want to help. I want to help. I want to be the we." What would somebody need to want to help out with Recall Roster?
If anybody wants to help, I've got 2 emails. One will come up with the new website, which will be wegotyour6@therecallroster.org.
Okay.
And anybody can email that one, but that one won't be up till next week. So for now, I've got recallroster@theflightline.com.
Okay.
And anybody can go to that one, and I can put AdamACC93@hotmail.com. You can message me directly.
So there's ways. So if you active military, retired, veterans,
yeah, everybody,
if you want to help out with a great cause, again, the website, I'll pop it up again right now underneath Adam there.
Yeah.
With those email addresses. If you're watching this Friday, there's only the 2 that are available, but they'll all be up there.
Yeah.
You mentioned you had brought up that you did. Was it 1 or 2 tours?
Well, the Army calls it tours. I did.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. I did 4 deployments.
Okay.
That were, my longest one was 5.5 months. And then the other ones were between 3 and 4 months at a time, but that was every year.
Wow.
That I was in the military for the last 4 years.
Are you allowed to speak on where you went? Or?
Oh yeah. Everywhere. I've been completely around the world in a C-130, which most people don't get to do. The Air Force actually stopped. From what I know, they stopped the trip east from the desert because it cost the Air Force too much money. So yeah, I've been to Mosul, Iraq, Iraqi airport, Kuwait, Afghanistan, Oman, Qatar, Dubai.
Wow.
Yeah, all Greece, Germany, Japan. I got to see so much, and this was like the majority of this stuff by the age of 23.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was living life. Let me tell you, it was amazing. I loved every second of it.
Now, what was your deciding factor in 1, joining the military, and then 2, deciding I want to go Air Force? Like, do you have family that are Air Force, or what was your deciding factor?
So I grew up adopted. Had not a bad home life, but I really wanted to get away. I hate my sister.
Okay.
I do not talk to her anymore. We spent after high school and joining the military, I didn't talk to her for like 2 years. And then recently, well, not recently, a few years ago, I've not talked to her in 2 years now.
Okay.
We don't get along, never did growing up. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to go military. But then my dad was a flight engineer. His 2 brothers were Army and then Navy. My grandfather and grandmother were both Army. On my mother's side, there was Air Force, there was Army. So, but then my dad being a flight engineer, that's the maintenance world.
Okay.
One of my uncles was hydraulics, which is exactly what I was. So, and I was always good with my hands. I'm a hell of a mechanic. I will toot my horn on that. And I always loved aviation. I always loved it. Model planes, RC planes. So that was why I went Air Force aircraft mechanic. Yeah.
You mentioned at the start of that you were adopted.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something that you've ever talked about on TikTok or anything like that.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay. So, have you ever met your biological parents, or no desire?
No. Yeah, I have. I did 23andMe, believe it or not.
Okay.
And well, back up a little bit. I did go through the adoption agency that I was adopted through. And at the time, I did get a hold of my birth mother, but it was through like a caseworker. I didn't actually get to talk to her. And it wasn't a good time. So I kind of just left it alone for 3 years. And then Lacey gets me a 23andMe for Christmas. So I spit in the little tube, mail it off. Valentine's Day 2 years ago, I get the results. I matched with a first cousin.
Okay.
My birth mother, I knew from some of my adoption. I did have some information. My birth mother only had one sister. Looked my first cousin up on Facebook, and within 3 minutes, I saw my birth mother for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Shocking. Like holy shit.
And how old were you at that point?
This 2 years ago. I was 36.
Oh, so this is recent.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was recent. It was 2 years ago.
Wow. How old were you? Were you adopted at birth, or
yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, I was adopted at birth. My birth mother and birth father were both 17 when they had me.
Okay.
So then I ended up having 3 half sisters who I am absolutely in love with, and they knew about me, but not until they were like 10 and 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I was the big brother fairy tale that came into their life. I'm like, hey fuckers, I'm here. Guess what? And they're just like me. They're off the fucking wall. And then my birth father had passed.
Okay.
4 years before the 23andMe. He had some mental issues, probably where I have all my crazy shit from, honestly. But I've met my cousins from his side, and he had 4 sisters, which I've met 3 of them.
Wow.
And they have all brought me in. I am part of that family.
That's amazing. That's
and
awesome.
It literally, like, growing up as an adopted child, not knowing who you are, where you fit in, like, drop Adam in the middle of these 2 families, and damn it, I fit the fuck right in. It was really a great feeling.
So your birth parents just decided, hey, we're too young.
Yeah,
He could have a better life with a separate family, which you got to. Was it growing up okay? I mean, did you know?
Yeah.
How old were you when you found out you were adopted? Like, did your parents tell you?
Yeah, it was one of those things. Like, I don't remember when I found out. Like, I always knew. But with I was a forced adoption. Like, my birth mother did not want to give me up. So I ended up being the family secret on my birth mother's side of the family.
Wow.
Which was a whole nother, like, I hate drama.
Sure.
So, but with my sisters, they helped schmooze that all over, which was great. Like, we have a running joke. Like, the first time I talked to the older sister of my younger sisters, she was very reluctant to talk to me, but we talked for like 2 hours, and at the end of it, I was like, hey, just so you know, I need your credit card number at the end of this. Because there's got to be that, like, I have to want something, being this random person coming into your life. I don't want shit. I just want to know where I come from. I want to, and here's the big thing. I wanted to see somebody that looked like me. My kids look fucking identical to me, but my daughter was the first person in my life that I got to see that, hell, that person looks like me.
Okay.
So
wow, that's intense. I never would think like that. Like, that's, you hear different stories of why, but I've never heard that. That's that's something else.
So I've got a cousin on my my father's side that Sam is like a year and a half older than me. Imagine the girl version of me. It's nuts. When we first met, her husband, we were talking, and Samantha was like, I just don't see it. And her husband's like, no, I fucking see it. It's weird.
How close to where you live were your was your birth mother and the other biological family?
So I was born in Fort Myers Beach, Florida.
Okay.
and they still live down in Naples, Florida, which is just south of there.
Yep.
So I'm up in Nashville. So I've made my trips down there, and because of COVID, I'm not got to make my trip this year.
Gotcha.
So I kind of we're going to end up moving down there eventually.
Do you want out of Nashville?
I love the place that we live, but we're not actually in Nashville. We're west of Nashville in the country.
Okay.
Nashville is not Tennessee.
I've never been to Nashville. My parents go to up to the Smoky Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Every winter they go there.
Yeah.
They're out in Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
Is where they stay.
That's where I spent all my youth group trips and stuff going to.
Okay, and they love it there. And Nashville was cool for them to visit, but my dad, I think the first time he was like, "It's Manhattan with cowboy boots and country music."
And all those cowboy boots on Broadway ain't from the country. I'm telling you. Lace don't wear cowboy boots. She wears Timberlands.
She wears.
Yeah.
See, I've gotten crap my entire life because I'm from Long Island, New York. Obviously.
Yeah.
Guido, Mick, whatever. But I wear cowboy boots every single day. So people will tell me, be like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, here. Like,
yeah,
it's a shoe. It's a boot. But no, that's something that he's like, it was cool. We saw it. I don't want to see it again.
It's like, Florida is such a mix of people because people move down there. And that's exactly what inner city Nashville is. Like I worked the area of East Nashville and some of the outer surrounding areas for all my building inspections and stuff. I think I've met, like, out of all the people, I've met like 2 people that are actually from Nashville that are not transplanted. They're like from Nashville. And I'm like the only other Tennessean that grew up, I did grow up in Florida, but then I also grew up in East Tennessee. Everybody else is from New York or
trying to
California,
trying to be the next big country artist, apparently.
Yeah, that's it.
For you, as somebody who spent how many years in the military?
I was in for 6 years. Yeah.
6 years, continuing on after you're out and still doing so much for people that are in, out, and everything in between. It's 2020.
Yeah.
Going towards the end of it. Somebody comes up to you, 17 years old, says, "Adam, I want to enlist. I want to join the military." What are you telling them?
Kind of have a speech on that one, actually. It all depends on what the person's options are. At this point in time, college degrees only help you if you're going into engineering or you're going to be a doctor. There's so many trade schools that you can go to where you don't have to go to college for and make money. If I was very happy that I got to see the world that I did. So if somebody wants to join the military, yeah, I'm going to be like, if you want to go, it all depends on what job you want to do and if it's going to transfer to civilian life when you're done, whether that be after 6 years or if it's after 20 years. It's all about what you want to do in life and be happy with doing. Like I have my airframe and power plant license. I've not got to use it, but that's mainly because my back is screwed up, my neck's screwed up. Like I really shouldn't work on aircraft unless it's like my personal aircraft or something, which I'll have someday.
I was about to say, you have a personal aircraft.
No, eventually, yeah. That's on the bucket list. But if somebody wants to join the military, we're 1% of the country that can join. So I applaud anybody that if you can pass the requirements and you can join, fight for this country.
What was the deciding factor for you? Was it your back? Was it something that where you said, "Okay, I did 6 years, I'm done. I'm out. I'm done." Was it your choice or was it?
That's an easy answer. There's a couple answers to that kind of mix together. Me and Lace weren't doing real good at the time. Not that we were going to get divorced. She was going through some depression at the time. And moving back to East Tennessee, our hometown, I thought was the best thing for us, for her. So I chose Lacey over the Air Force. Even I wanted to stay in, and I almost re-enlisted the day I was getting out.
Wow.
Because I was so on the fence whether it would have helped her or not moving back to East Tennessee. It didn't. We're in a better place now because we moved back away from East Tennessee. But that's not the ultimate deciding factor. Is my last deployment, the one where I was gone for 5.5 months. I came home. Hannah was 2.5 years old, and you see all these videos where everybody's running and seeing the soldier, the airman that's coming home they haven't seen. Hannah didn't recognize me. And that vision is still very burned into my mind. And that is the ultimate reason I got out, because I could not go on another deployment and see that look in her eyes again.
I can't imagine how that's got to hit. And I think in the end, and what you're doing now, I don't think you wouldn't have had time for any of this had you still been active.
No, I would have been deployed or may not, but I would have been just nose to the grind, launching and fixing aircraft, which would have been good too. But my purpose is what I'm doing now. It's helping people transitioning out that so many veterans need. Some of them don't have a support system. Like, I was able to move back to East Tennessee, and we had our family there, and it was an easy transition as far as moving home. Civilian life, not so much. But having an option to move home and have that support system was great. A lot of vets don't have that. They're like, literally, what the fuck do I do if I don't want to be in the Army or the Marines anymore? And they move wherever. And then that transition for them into the civilian life is even harder.
Sure.
Because if they don't have a support system, they're just running on all cylinders, shooting from the fucking hip, dude.
It's again, as a civilian, but as somebody that is a avid supporter of our troops, the way that I think the treatment of a lot of military coming home, since before both of us were born, we're very similar in age.
Yeah.
Is horrible. So, and I think it really shows when somebody does something like what you're doing, that's what's needed more than ever. And it's amazing that you can figure this out. I think it's great when people help people. And I absolutely love what you're doing. It's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on. Yeah. Your message, your story, everything about you, I think could be extremely beneficial. And I hope that it has been. To close this out, Adam, floor is yours. You know, to anybody watching that might be going through this or knows anybody going through this, you know, what's your advice to them?
So what I always say is, you know, back to redirecting your mind. We have got to change the stigma and the stereotype of, I'm going to be one of those 22. No. Sometimes I need to sympathize with people. Hey, it's going to be okay. And there's sometimes I have to talk to military members that have gotten out, and it's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? There's so many different ways to talk to a person, but the biggest thing is you've got to reach out. You have to reach out. We have to change that mindset to where I don't want to be here. No, I want you here. Your friends want you here. Everybody around you wants you here, even if sometimes your immediate family does not. Because I've been pushed away from some of my immediate family. That's okay. Call in your brothers and sisters. We got your six, always. And
that's awesome. Anything to try to change that 22 a day is a beautiful thing. Again, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you for spreading your message. Thank you for still being here. And thank you for everything you've done and will continue to do for anybody else. Again, folks, Adam's handle is right over this little bar here. You guys can Once he's back to TikTok and unsuspended,
Off my ban.
you can still follow him. He still can go live, and he's still doing all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Please go show Adam all the love, all the support. Share this message with anybody you think it could be beneficial to. As always, with anything else on YouTube, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, turn on your alerts. We're going to continue this thing going every single week with different guests. If there is anybody that you would love to see on the show, and let's be realistic here, I really don't think Charlie D'Amelio is going to come on. I don't think I want her on. I'm just saying. Feel free to email me right down there. It is redrichtt@yahoo.com. That's redrichtt@yahoo.com. Adam, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody watching, thank you. And this has been the first episode of Behind the Content.